must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
It is ridiculous and it is against the laws of nature that we can have somebody sitting pretty who takes home more money than the credible entrepreneur who is doing actual production of goods and services.
We always say it as it is. It is only in this country that when a thief is arrested, you hear elders from their tribe saying, "He is our son and he is our thief."
If you are deviant and I call you leader, probably you are already a leader, but you are leading in the wrong direction.
We want to see the role of the youth in the security, governance, and development.
The youth that I meet and work with here, you know, we call them the millennials and X's and Y's, this and that. They don't necessarily want to live like their fathers and grandfathers, do business like their fathers and grandfathers. They're more independent, they're better educated, and they're the ones that are making everything move in this region.
We look at the issues, we talk about issues that impact people's lives in Africa. The African peoples themselves continue to cheer bad leaders, and because they cheer them on, they continue to be misled.
Let me ask you, doctor, would you rather be somebody who does not enjoy so much freedom but you are rich? Or you'd rather be poor who you are actually imprisoned by the poverty itself?
My goal is not to come here and say, I want the majority ownership, I want to own this, I want to own that, I want to do this. My goal is we all make money and we're all happy, and I help build a big business here.
Punchline is for Africa, with Africa, from Africa.
Good afternoon, viewers. I want to take a few minutes in the Africa School of Thought. I want to say a few points regarding the situation of the Chief Justice in the Republic of Kenya. The Chief Justice is part of the governance of the people of Kenya. He is one arm of the governance of the Republic of Kenya. The Chief Justice has never convened or tried to convene a meeting between the President, the Speaker of National Assembly, and himself to find out the weakest link in the fight in the governance of the people of Kenya. It is therefore very shameful for the whole Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya to use a platform, external platform, to announce a regime change proceeds using the platforms of international civil society to dismember the government of the Republic of Kenya. As a Pan-African, I feel sorry and saddened by the events that are taking place in the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya. The President or the executive has done its best. It has given the funding that is needed to fight corruption. Every time the agencies that fight corruption arrange, indict, and deliver a suspect in the courts of the Republic of Kenya, the same judiciary that the Chief Justice represents, the same judiciary that the Chief Justice says it is very perfect, releases these people, at times on flimsy reasons, blocks the route of justice, obstructs justice. The case of the former Deputy Chief Justice, Lady Mwiru, who was found who should have taken a plea, but because of the problems that the judiciary has and the weaknesses, the incompetences that the judiciary has, the Lady Justice Mwiru was allowed to petition the DCI and DPP's application and a charge. She never took a charge, a plea in the normal courts. Of course, the events are much bigger than what we see today. It is sorry state that the Chief Justice is the one who can mention about the failure, yet the word failure is actually associated with the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya. Everybody in the judiciary knows, every Kenyan, young or old, knows that there is a problem with the Chief Justice. I take one example. For the Chief Justice to talk about the nullified elections, that dynasties collect themselves in kingdoms, in business entrepreneurs win an election, shows to you that he has something against the current administration of President Uhuru. I therefore call upon the international community not to listen to the side that actually weakened the fight against corruption in Kenya, but help the Kenyan people to fight corruption. Because the weakest link, which all of us know, is the judiciary in Kenya. If the Chief Justice was pleasing the civil society funders, the NGOs that gathered in Oxford, let them hear this message, that it is him and him alone. It is his incompetency, the lack of direction, the lack of leadership, the poor leadership qualities, the lack of pointing out the mistakes in law. The law itself that the Chief Justice talks about is the one to recommend which type of law. He can also suggest to the other two arms of government that the laws in Kenya surrounding cases of corruption are weak. But as usual, he has been a weakest link, remains a weakest link. Who is plotting, who is planning, who is trying to execute a foreign instigated plan against the Jubilee government. Thank you very much, viewers. That is a statement as far as the situation of Kenya is concerned. The Chief Justice, therefore, is plotting a coup, a constitutional coup, because he is trying to blackmail the leadership of the Republic of Kenya. Thank you very much, viewers. God bless you.
We call for a non-violent revolution. We call for a non-violent protest. We call for a non-violent march. This is what we are demonstrating to the world, and we have resisted Mr. Biya's army of occupation in our land, but this is a moment that we must continue to stand firm.
Of this nation.
Along with many other Cameroonians, many of you, as far back as the early 90s, and more frequently lately, I have insisted upon the imperative nature of genuine dialogue. Unfortunately, the government's solution has been cosmetic reforms and repression. Teachers, lawyers who raised legitimate concerns were either arrested or forced into exile. Doctors, important people in our society who asked for genuine dialogue, were met with punitive transfers and humiliation. It is regrettable that the government hasn't learned from the past.
We are Ambazonas. We don't need anything again. The only solution to the matter is let the government solve this problem by giving our independent freedom.
We have a territory of our own. We recognize international boundaries. We have a language. We have a culture. We have our own laws. We have everything that is required by international standards to be a people and a nation and a state. The UN must give us this right.
We as a people, we have the right to self-determination, and we are determined to go our separate ways.
The people of the Southern Cameroons have suffered under the brutal regime of the annexationists, La République du Cameroun. We have suffered for 56 years, and we finally decided that enough is enough.
I think dialogue is the main solution, because the use of military has never been a solution to a problem concerning this kind of issues. So the government of Cameroon has to dialogue with the Anglophone regions to come to a compromise and let this problem be solved.
Now, we want to inform the whole world that the Southern Cameroonian prisoners of conscience in the jails of Yaoundé are on the second day of their declared hunger strike. Now, we want the entire world to know, because we are convinced that the regime in Yaoundé will be indifferent until they begin to die. While we encourage our brothers in this process, we also call on Southern Cameroonians to join them in a fasting, so that the whole world may know that we are a determined people.
Self-determination cannot be effective without self-defense. We are opposed to violence. We are opposed to war. But if La République, if the UN should continue to dilly-dallying as they are doing, and La République comes now to attack our people, they are forced, they are bound by the law of nature to defend themselves.
Hail this land of glory, we the Amazonians pledge our loyalty.
Good morning, viewers. Welcome to Punchline Africa TV, broadcasting all the way from Nairobi, Kenya, and simultaneously in London and elsewhere in Berlin on our satellite. We're back. Our satellite now directly points at the entire Africa, the entire Europe. If you have an advert you want to put on the satellite, it will come back to your local television without any problem. And to avoid all these hassles of whatever it is, advertise with us. You will see your advert back home here on Go TV, on Star TV. We shall bring it back. We don't need to be anywhere. We don't need to get, you don't need a remote control. Just get us your advert and you are done, home and dry. This morning, we chose to give it to Kenya, to East Africa, to the region where we want adverts to come from, to the region which industries were affected by the budget yesterday, to the region whose natives were affected by the budget yesterday. And with me in the studio, as usual, to punch it all the way, to make punchlines. We see we hit punchlines. We say the truth. We have no mercy with anybody who stands on our way. We don't have enough room for lazy people. We have enough room for hardworking people. I will begin by introducing my co-host, herself a tormentor of all, interrogator, tormentor, mediator, peace processor, arbitrator. So call her any name you want. Among those, she fits in the category. This is none other than Miriam Ogutu. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm happy you are today where you are a zebra or a leopard.
I don't know. Just
yes, leopard.
Yes.
Leopard never loses its track.
Its sports.
And it doesn't change its sports. So thank you very much, viewers. Those on the television, wherever you are, those who are watching us on the satellite home back through all our systems, Amazon, Roku, iPhone, TV, all those, they are here. We are here. Abe, television, all those are here. We shall bring Go TV in Kenya. You can see us. Those who say, where are you these days? I'm always there. I'm here. Just tune in Punchline Africa TV together with our sister company, SCBC, South Cameroon Broadcasting Corporation, Pan-African station, all the way from Bahrain and the United States of America and other places in Africa. We now cover the entire world without hesitation. You have an advert, you want to sell your milk to Nigeria, give us the advert. You want to sell your avocados, you want to sell your eggs. Uganda has plenty of eggs. Some countries don't have eggs. Chicken eggs. We are not talking about ostrich.
Ostrich is also delicious.
No, but we don't grow ostrich. They are rare.
Yes.
We shall advertise you. If you have your product that you have in East African region, our adverts are cheap, straightforward. Things are, the button is going down, Miriam. But as the button goes down, we have Mr. Rotich watching us, also encroaching on internet and those who do business online. He's coming. This law is already working in Uganda. This law is working elsewhere. Now he has copied a bit of the Uganda thing. One of the things that I saw yesterday.
That brought Bobby Wine, that is why he was protesting and got him into problems last
Yes, again so Rotich seemed to be a student of Museveni's apparatus of encroaching on a network, free things. You know? This internet is free. Free. The man who created it is free. Facebook, Google, Twitter. These are men doing good work for the world. African countries have run in quickly to tax them. That's the thing that I'm also very not happy with, as we shall see the good, the ugly, and the bad, the good, the ugly of this. All of them. I'm gonna round up the whole East Africa, because yesterday every minister was telling us serious story, good story, ugly story, bad story. Miriam, there you are. We shall look at that, the budget analysis, post-budget analysis of Kenya. Yes, post-budget. I am happy. Yes. And then we move on the regional basis. And Miriam comes in with her regional, international news, regional, international, Africa, where we shall look at Cameroon. Is there peace? Sudan. Are we about to see another Libya? Shall we avert the crisis that is in Sudan?
There seems to be good progress being made so far.
Yes, because they are listening to us. I'm telling you, it's not taking credit. Dukul is listening. Cool down. Cool down. Cool down. Don't now antagonize the Americans. Let's play them. You see, we need... if you have gone to study, you have come back with knowledge. You must be better than those who trained you. They don't study to make sure that you are equal with them. If you have gone to an American university, Harvard, you must come back to Africa and operate better. So Dugulu is listening. Cool down, do the transition, let it come down, defeat themselves. It will defeat the Americans. It will defeat the French. It will defeat George Soros. Because already there is one thing that every revolution, every man in the world brings. Even Idi Amin left some legacy.
And you know, George Clooney and John Pendergast made a statement to the U.S. Treasury, and they said that they should put measures to make sure that they sort of monitor the money transaction coming out of Sudan and make sure no money comes out of Sudan. George Clooney and John Pendergast, they are petitioning the U.S. Treasury the other day.
So when you look at that, you know you have to deal with imperialism and then neo-colonialists like George and John, that guy of Enough Project. Those are the most dangerous, plus George Soros, the most dangerous three neo-colonialists still hanging over Africa. They created the regime change. It did not work a first phase. They went to second phase. And those in Zimbabwe watch. See how they do it. See how they do it. Now they reached a point, Miriam, iliwashika, walishikana. They reached a point where they cannot breathe. There's no fire, no hail, no hailstorm. There are plenty of them. Then they said, change tactic. Now, restrict the money. Have you seen? We are going slowly. That is why the generals have to be very smart here. There is one thing that you are not going to take out of Sudan, Sharia law. Shake my hand.
I don't know if I want to.
No, you better.
The majority of Sudanese do.
Sharia law. They are not going to take it away. It has grown. Sorry, it has grown. It has grown its feet. And whoever wants to take it out of Sudan will face another rebellion worse than this. We should have learned from the issue of Libya. When we went to Libya and dismantled the Green Revolution and created terrorists who are killing us in Libya today. Africa, yeah. Africa. You don't learn. These imperialists are stupid. Very stupid people. They don't see what they have done to Libya. Now they are going to slowly to do it to Sudan. There is no way you can remove Saudi Arabia from influencing. I swear, you are dealing with something so dangerous.
But they're in the middle of it, so they are influencing.
Yes, therefore, where's Sharia law going to go? Tell me an African and this stupid AU that they are moving with suits where? Stupid. What are they going to do? The Sharia law in Sudan, which Bashir created, will remain there. Any other man coming to sweep these ones from power will install it. That's something you cannot change now. If you have been eating hamburger in London and New York and Washington and come back and say you want to talk about anything there, liberal democracy in Khartoum is impossible. The clerics will come and take you down. Africa needs people to talk, man. We need to start talking. We have a problem in Africa. We fill our churches, we fill our parliaments, but we have empty heads. We have no conviction of our own patriotism. Let it come out. Let people speak like Nkrumah, Nyerere, Sekou, Gabriel, Nansa, Obote, Jomo Kenyatta. This man spoke without fear. The rest of Africa speaks with fear. You can't change it. It's done. Sudan, even if you kill Duglo, the people coming will install Sharia law. Why? The main funder, does it have money? It produces oil, but it doesn't have the control of its reserves. Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Egypt, they have a share.
They do, and they've promised $3 billion.
Let's go. Let's listen. Africa, stand up. Let's not fill the churches every Sunday when we have nothing to offer. Even God laughs at us. God laughs at us. Play that video from the reverend before we start. Play it. Play it. We sell commodities. Museveni sold everything in Uganda to people at peanuts. Within a year, these institutions came back, bounced. The man who bought paid the government the whole amount in advance in 6 months. So you have lost your commodity. Play that thing for me. Play it.
The Zambian government, Bishop, sold the copper mines in northern Zambia to an outside consortium for $25 million. The copper mines for $25 million because they couldn't manage to keep them. The company that came in and took over the Zambian copper mines in 3 months made a profit of $75 million. They did not pay the Zambian government upfront in cash for the mines. They were going to pay them over a period of time. Here we have this company that has an understanding of how things work, raised the money at the government's expense, took money that the company should have, the government should have been making, and gave it back to the government and said, we paid our debt in full, and give them now 0.006% of the proceeds of copper mining, when right outside the door there's people in poverty, people in not eating, people ignorant, people dying, high levels of AIDS. And what's the deal? Churches are full, people are praising God, Africans pray all night. Prayer is not in the success equation. Prayer is in the revelation equation. Decision making is in the success equation. You have to make a decision and be sound. We have to be disciplined and make sure we go and get what God has called us to get. You can be full of the Holy Ghost, but you can still be ignorant. But as for me and my house, I will get understanding. I will get understanding. I will get understanding. It's time now for us to rise up and be counted. This year, the country of Ghana turns 50. Ghana was born the same year we were born, in 1957. Ghana and South Korea had their independence dates on the same day, the same year. But look where South Korea is. South Korea is by nature not a Christian nation. South Korea by nature are Buddhists. China, which is the next large world economy, they have stated that in the next 10 years, 20% of the Chinese people will be multimillionaires. That means almost 450 million Chinese will be millionaires. They are not Christians, they are Buddhists. The Japanese are Shintoists. Those in Indonesia and Malaysia are Muslims. It's not about praising God and hallelujah and a great thank you, Jesus. It's about possessing an understanding as to how things work.
Thank you very much, viewers. You can continue, take copy of that video at your house, in your house, with your house, for your house. Listen to it, all of you. Look at your children. Look at your husband. Look at everybody and say, oh my, where am I? I fill the churches every Sunday. Do I give salvation? Oh my. I talk about funding, paying the churches, donating in the churches. Where am I? I feel to go everywhere, every pulpit, tell people how good I am. Where am I? That guy summarized it. Africa is that. Too many beggars outside the coal mines in Kitwe, copper mines.
Such a shame.
AIDS killing people. Zambian government sells this copper mine at 25 million and the Chinese made it up. What is it that makes the Chinese work? Motivation, patriotism. Hello. I think I better start preaching, man, Miriam. I'm fed up of talking on TV. Very soon God will call me. I think I better start doing this. Look at that. So many people outside begging, dying of poverty. We Africans mismanage the property that God gave us. And we call in Chinese. We call in those guys buying mines. Uganda government today is struggling with 40.48 trillion shillings budget. Useless. Tell me what it is. They sold the copper mine at peanuts. They sold night hill at peanuts. The people who came to make night hill make millions today. Because we don't think. Because we don't reason. Because we have no ability. We have no perception of the future. We perceive everything has gone wrong. And we keep quiet. When we are told that you must cut, when you are told that a border man who knocks and kills 10 people has no insurance, and you want to put on insurance on a border man which is comprehensive, because you are on a road and open, you are not in a car, you are more vulnerable to death than the man in a car. You say it is very bad, Africa. You say it is very bad. Why has he done the border tax? Yet border today create more problems on the road than the cars. Hey!
Actually, when you go to the Kenyatta National Hospital, they have a section where they only treat people for accidents that have been caused by border.
We have a problem here. A very big problem that we have. Huge problem. Where in Africa can we hide the poverty of faith? Emitima emivundu. The poverty of faith in Africa, where can we hide? We are in a problem in Africa. Africa is giving us difficulties. What can we do that can save this continent? What can we do that can bring in sanity in this continent? The best thing we can do is to work to reinvent ourselves. Let's look at our hearts. There is a problem here already in Africa. Look at the budget of Uganda. Look at the budget of Rwanda. Look at the budget of Tanzania. Look at the budget of Kenya. Look at the budget of Burundi. Look at the budget of South Sudan. An empty shell with no shells. An empty heart with no blood to flow. Yet there is blood to make it flow. Am I talking parable tonight? Let God help us. Sudan produces 2.3 billion oil worth $1 billion. But if you go, they close the embassy, sacked officers, army is not paid, no medicine, no sanitation, nothing, it is finished. Are we ourselves? We feel in churches, we feel in mosques, we go every day, we are hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. We are dressed to show in the church that we have bought new suits. God is not looking for your suit. God is looking for how best you can position yourself in a perspective form, how best you can help Africa. Take it away, Miriam.
Yes, indeed. And I think from that clip we just watched, that preacher, we seems to have the curse of leadership when it comes to Africa, because as he's given that example of Zambia and the copper mines, where it has a lot of money. When these foreigners came in and they were given this tender by the government, they were able to make a lot of money, pay the government plus an extra interest. And yet, the people surrounding that area that is quite wealthy, that is quite has all that resources, are not benefiting from that. Matter of fact, it's a slum. People who are poverty-ridden. We have a curse when it comes to leadership in Africa. I think it's the curse of leadership in Africa, and also the poverty of faith. You know, people just think when you just go pray and everything will happen. No, you have to get up from that and go activate that faith. Even the Bible says faith without works is actually dead.
Look at what is happening is Africa creating wealth or transferring wealth? There are two different things. Wealth creation and wealth transfer. Miriam, which one do you belong to? Which African company, organization transfers wealth to the people? And which African country creates wealth? Show me one. Show me one.
That was a very interesting analogy there, but yes, we have a problem when it comes to the leadership and the people we trust with these positions, who are supposed to make things happen, identify those opportunities, and have people involved in the different areas in the countries, and make the citizens of those countries' lives better. But unfortunately, that is not the case here in Africa. So indeed, we have a shortage of leaders and people who actually mean well for their people. Because I've realized a lot of these leaders we have do not mean well for their citizens. If these people are empowered, if these people know better, then they will not be able to vote next time. So they hold them captive in that mentality of poverty. Next time you come with handouts, they'll be open to that and listen to you even if you're not making any sense at all.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we want to look further, interrogate further the budget of Kenya, and we look at, while you prepare the African news, then we rashly go into, let's combine all this. What is it that was in Kenya? I think let's take a short break, then we come back. Miriam does the African news, then we finally go into this.
And do you know that Kenya's budget was bigger than all these East African countries' budget put together?
Yes.
Yes. We'll come back.
All of it?
Yeah, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda. Burundi did not, we don't know if they read their budget.
Yeah, they did.
Okay. But Kenya, I mean Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya's budget.
So there is one thing that helps Uganda is, despite all these problems, we have food, we have matoke, cassava, everything grows. One thing that disadvantages Kenya, I've analyzed this in an article on the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta. If you look at that, the legacy trend, you will get that article. All these countries. But the one thing that shocked me about Uganda is it fighting against itself. The expenditure of security and defense is equivalent to the entire 3/4 of...
But what do you expect if the ruling party is still called National Resistance Movement?
Oh my God, there you are. Don't go away, take a break. It is coming sweet, nice, and excellent here. Right. Maybe our people did not hear we talk like this. We are normal people, but Africa has a problem. Don't go away.
We discuss Africa. We see what ails Africa. And today, this afternoon, we want to see whether Sudan will permanently remain a sick child of Africa. Is it a permanent sickness? Can we resolve the issues of Southern Sudan? Is it something that has gone wrong for 200 years? There has always been a problem in Southern Sudan, in that great region, starting from all the way the Alimadi Wars and the rest of all what happened until today. Peace seems to be elusive. Why has UN taken slow action
Why hasn't UN set up a tribunal? We want to see a tribunal that will make sure that Southern Sudan people are accountable. Those who committed crimes against the human beings. 20,000 Sudanese perished. They are perished. They are not accountable. Nobody can account for them. And we cannot sit here, go on hammering peace agreements without mechanisms of accountability. If we set a tribunal for Sierra Leone, for Rwanda, for Camera Rouge, we need somebody to stand up for the poor masses, the masses that have died, the masses that continue to die, the masses that are being brutalized, murdered, maimed on a daily basis by marauding armies of both Riek Machar and Salva Kiir. There must be an accountability. You are not going to sit here and tell people there is no accountability in Southern Sudan. There must be a tribunal. Why do we run to harass countries of Kenya, put ICC on Kenya, put ICC on this country, put ICC on Central African Republic? Why have we delayed on putting a tribunal for Southern Sudan to find out who is killing, who has been killing, how they have been killing people? Let me speak for the people in Southern Sudan, the women, the children who have not gone to school, the children who have no medicine, the children who have nothing, who have been running since 2013, and the war cannot end because of two people. Let them face the tribunal. I'm not going to keep quiet as a Pan-African to see Southern Sudan being maimed, being tortured, being cut, dismembered, and we keep quiet and watch people vote images of people, of malcontents singing to us in Uganda, in Kenya, in Ethiopia, in South Africa, telling us they have money. Let them face the international tribunal and tell the tribunal who gave them the guns, where they buying them, how they were killing people. Enough of is enough. Enough is enough for Africa. We have had enough. There is no need of that anymore. Enough is enough. And if people have died, they will not cry. We people who are left on planet Earth must cry for them. We must find justice for them. We must make sure that there are leaders who go on bragging on television stations all over the world, who are accountable. They must be behind bars.
It is 1:15 here in Nairobi. Good morning and thank you for joining us. And I'll just go through the African news making headlines this morning, and then Dr. Matanga will join me in a bit. He had to take care of something very quickly, but he'll be here in the next just a few minutes. So let me just go through what is making headlines this morning. And remember, we're looking at the budgets. Those are our main topics today. We're looking at the budgets. The major East African countries had the budget reading yesterday: Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, and we'll just be trying to give a breakdown and compare these budgets and see how is it and who were the losers. What was the best thing that came out from these budgets that the citizens of these countries will benefit from? Will it change lives? Will it change anything? Will it make life easier for the common person living in East African countries? So we will look at that when Dr. Matanga joins back. But first, let us just go through in what is making news this morning from Africa. And of course, we start with Sudan. And after 10 days of growing condemnation, Sudan's military rulers say they regret that some mistakes happened during the operation to clear the protests sit-in, but apparently not sufficient regret to allow an independent international investigation. Instead, the regime says it will announce the results of its own probe on Saturday and that it has already arrested some officers. And still in Sudan, Sudan's state prosecutors have charged ousted President Omar al-Bashir with corruption. Reuters news agency reports that they said it came after completing the investigations into the 75-year-old politician. And still in Sudan, and diplomats from the United States and African Union have intensified pressure on Sudan's Transitional Military Council that is currently working to resolve a standoff with protesters. The diplomatic push comes after protesters demanded civilian rule, called off a national civil disobedience campaign, and agreed to resume talks with the generals who ousted the veteran leader Omar al-Bashir in April. And in Ethiopia, the country is now in its fourth day of an internet blackout. But whereas on Tuesday and Wednesday the services had resumed temporarily, it did not return after it had been shut down on Thursday. The text message service also remains blocked. The closure of the service coincides with nationwide exams, and on Wednesday, the state broadcaster ETV reported that 4 students had been caught cheating after sending each other text messages. And in Tanzania, the finance minister has announced a 25% on tax on all imported wigs and hair extensions and a 10% tax on those made in the country in a bid to raise more revenue. The finance minister, Philip Mpango, announced the measures which should come into at the beginning of next month as part of its annual budget statement on Thursday. Wigs, most of which come from overseas, are commonly worn by women, not just in Tanzania, but across Africa and the world. And Mozambique, a group of gunmen from Mozambique's main opposition party, the former rebel Renamo movement, have threatened to kill party leader Osufo Momade if he refuses to resign. A video circulating on the internet shows a Renamo commander Mariano Ngogwe Chisinga surrounded by men in civilian clothes holding AK-47 rifles. In the video, he says that since Mr. Momade has chosen to succeed Afonso Dhlakama, the veteran Renamo leader who died last year, there has been unwarranted prosecutions within the movement. And in Zambia, Barclays in Zambia has lost 400,000 US dollars that was stolen from a branch in one of the biggest bank heists in the country. The cash was stolen from the bank's Long Acres branch in the capital Lusaka. And in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the country's constitutional court has disqualified 23 opposition members of parliament who were elected in December. It did not disclose its reasons, but the court is meant to make judgments on votes recounted after complaints. And Bloomberg News reports that 6 out of the 9 judges had made the decision were nominated while former President Joseph Kabila was in power. It adds that the opposition alliance known as Lamuka has suspended its participation in parliament, saying that the rule of law has been assassinated. And in Eritrea, Eritrea's government has hit back at a group of more than 100 African writers and intellectuals who penned a critical letter calling for the country to enact some reforms. In a message on Twitter, Information Minister Yemane Gabriel Meskel said people should come and see the country. And he also added that Eritrea is open to all those with genuine interest in understanding the country, its people and leadership. The authors included Nigeria playwright Wole Soyinka, US Ethiopian writer Maza Mengiste, and Kenya anti-corruption campaigner John Githongo. And in Kenya, Kenya's Interior Ministry has ordered the deportation of 7 Chinese nationals who were described as having flagrantly flouted immigration rules. This comes after public tip-off that they were working at a large second-hand clothes market in the capital without the right paperwork, a statement says. Officers found the 3 of the Chinese people had no valid work permits and other 4 were doing work unauthorized by their work permits. And in Algeria, Supreme Court has detained former Prime Minister Abdelmalek Sellal over allegations of corruption. And on Wednesday, the same court had ordered the detention of another former Prime Minister, Ahmed Oyahir. And we end with South Africa, where now firebrand opposition leader Julius Malema has added fuel to the diplomatic tiff with Botswana, saying an influential family in Pretoria was keen on removing President Mogetsi Matsisi's government from power. In a tweet on Sunday, Mr. Malema said he believes there is a plot to remove the current Botswana government by some members of a powerful South African family, adding weight to a growing accusations that face Mr. Patrice Motsepe family for meddling in Gaborone's ruling Botswana Democratic Party. So that is the latest from Africa this morning. I'll just like us to take a short break, and then when Dr. Matsanga returns, we will look at some of the stories from Africa in depth, and then we'll get into our topic of the day. Please don't go too far. Good morning, Africa. We'll be right back.
To be here today to participate with my brothers and sisters in this very important forum when we are reflecting and thinking about our country. When we are thinking about our country, we are thinking about ourselves, our people at home, and the generations to come. Mine is to assure you that we are doing our best as far as investigations are concerned. But at the same time, we do have quite a number of challenges, though they have not reached a point of dispiriting us, or rather demotivating us. We are trying to say that I wish everybody in this war of corruption may come on board. One thing I can say is, even before we go for some investigations outside there, some of the frustrations which really pull us down is some of the strange orders that we receive. Other than even starting the investigation, we are stopped even before we record a statement from somebody who you know very well are stolen from Kenyans. You know very well, and all Kenyans know, we are pursuing this person, and it's not something we're imagining. We all know. And we cannot lie to ourselves, surely, and everything can show. But we are stopped even before questioning that person. And when we receive some of those orders, like another one which I received just the other day, I was not even at the stage of even pursuing that person whatsoever. Then when the orders came, I read them very well. Do not use the door to go and arrest Mr. Hay. Then I said, okay, why is this preemptive? Then I said, fine, I consulted my regular advisors, they are here. And then I said, no, through my information, there is a window. If I cannot use the door to go and take Mr. Hay, then I'm going to use the window. And once I get through the window, I get a smoking gun, which is killing us. Just smoking, just immediately from murdering us Kenyans. When you steal from us, the hospital money, roads money, development money for all this country, what do you think you are? You are not better than that terrorist you are battering there in the Dusit and other areas. Then, immediately, faithfully carrying our smoking gun, then what happened? We are told, don't even bring this smoking gun here. Don't even touch that person. We are bad. Please listen to me. Have it here. Why don't you give me 10 minutes even to demonstrate I'm not malicious? Surely this is what I have. Then if I am, prove me within these 10 minutes. Nobody is ready to listen to us. What I can say is, thank you for prayers and support from Kenyans. I know very well that issue of mafia in Italy. It was completed almost replica, the capture of the mafia. The way the war was won, and the people's cry, they were wiped and dry their tears. It was through the corrective working and bravery of their police, prosecution, and judiciary. When most of them, they are homicide, and then the police said, no, enough is enough. Our people have cried enough. Let's go to fight for our people. In as much some of them were still with the mafia. It was massacre. They said it's okay, let's die, but for the world cause of our people. The prosecution came on board and said, no, equally we hear the cry of our people. Let's join the war. They joined the police, the prosecutors. Then the judiciary came and said, no, then we shall not be left. They came on board. The war was won for their people, ultimately. We can say, equally in Kenya, we can take the cry of our Kenyans and say, this greed, these millions we are stealing every day, start them in bank, there are papers, we shall read them in this world. Let us say, what is enough for us is what God has given us. And the moment we say collectively, we are going to fight this war together, I can for sure tell you, this country is beautiful, it has plenty for each and every one of us. And I can for sure we shall have peace of mind. And even during our last days when they do come, even that billionaire and all that, you will be smiling knowing if there is heaven, me I'm a Christian, I believe there is one. At least then have a space after the one hereafter. So that one is to say, continue supporting us, praying for us. We shall do our level best, and we shall give all that we have for the sake of our motherland. Thank you.
Good afternoon, viewers. I want to take it. Viewers, good morning, Africa, wherever you are. We are looking at the rise from the ashes of the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya. For the last 2 years, since the nullification of elections of 2017, the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya on the headlines and in every newspaper worldwide, nationally, regionally, and Africa at large. The nullification of that election brought what we call a dual system of courage of justice.
That the presidential election held on 2017 was not conducted in accordance with the Constitution and the applicable law, rendering the declared results invalid, null, and void.
The justice that is demanded by civil society, international civil society, and local civil societies, and the justice demanded by the interest of the nation. Given the two, which one do Kenyans want? Do they want the interest of the nation? In the interest of the nation, President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta decided to go back to campaign in order to show the world that he was able, and he is able, and he was the winner. The campaigns took place, an election was reconducted. For the second time, Uhuru emerged the winner of that election. From then, the judiciary has never been a judiciary for the people of Kenya. It has been a judiciary commanded, supported, equipped logistically by either local NGOs or international NGOs that tell them on what to do, not to do. And above all, the situation of judicial officers themselves being activists. We have seen a number of judges acting like activists on the streets, making decisions that are not in the interest of the judiciary and not in the interest of the country at large. The release of terrorists or alleged terrorists from courts using the law, and then the terrorists return to kill many Kenyans, is one of the factors that has caught our eye. In Africa School of Thought, we believe that Chief Justice Maraga and his entire team, or Chief Justice Maraga, the Deputy Chief Justice, Madam Mwiru, have not done a service for this country. They have misused the powers conferred upon them by the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya to either do politicking or accuse the executive of being political or being a witch hunter against the judiciary. Time and time again, President Uhuru Kenyatta has pumped in money in the judiciary to raise the standards of the employees of the judiciary, to give the judges freedom and welfare that they are able to conduct their affairs without interference. Is it time now for the Kenyans to say we have had enough of a bad judiciary? Is it time now for us to fight and for Africa to rise up? Because we see a lot of shrinkage of constitutionalism being done by the judges. If you look at what the judges in Malawi did, they did it in the morning, they reversed it in the afternoon, they ate it during dinner. Is this what Kenyans want? I leave it to you, Kenyans. Our hopes lie on the judicial service, the new judicial service system that has been put there, and hopefully, and only hopefully, that one day we shall rise from the ashes of corruption. Thank you.
The Zambian government, Bishop, sold the copper mines in northern Zambia to an outside consortium for $25 million. The copper mines for $25 million because they couldn't manage to keep them. The company that came in and took over the Zambian copper mines in 3 months made a profit of $75 million. They did not pay the Zambian government up front in cash for the mines. They were going to pay them over a period of time. Here we have this company that has an understanding of how things work, raised the money at the government's expense, took money that the company should have, the government should have been making, and gave it back to the government and said, we paid our debt in full, and give them now 0.006% of the proceeds of copper mining, when right outside the door there's people in poverty, people in not eating, people ignorant, people dying, high levels of AIDS. And what's the deal? Churches are full, people are praising God, Africans pray all night. Prayer is not in the success equation. Prayer is in the revelation equation. Decision making is in the success equation. You have to make a decision and be sound. We have to be disciplined and make sure we go and get what God has called us to get. You can be full of the Holy Ghost, but you can still be ignorant. But as for me and my house, I will get understanding. I will get understanding. I will get understanding. It's time now for us to rise up and be counted. This year, the country of Ghana turns 50. Ghana was born the same year we were born, in 1957. Ghana and South Korea had their independence dates on the same day, the same year. But look where South Korea is. South Korea is by nature not a Christian nation. South Korea by nature are Buddhists. China, which is the next large world economy, they have stated that in the next 10 years, 20% of the Chinese people will be multimillionaires. That means almost 450 million Chinese will be millionaires. They are not Christians, they are Buddhists. The Japanese are Shintoists. Those in Indonesia and Malaysia are Muslims. It's not about praising God and hallelujah and a great thank you, Jesus. It's about possessing an understanding as to how things work.
Diaspora have been grappling with the question of African unity, or as some would prefer to refer to it, the integration of Africa as one of the avenues that would place us on the path as a continent of economic prosperity, social cohesion, and political stability. Today, we want to examine whether the idea of unity and or integration is feasible. And this must be seen in the context of the fact that the colonial project, which was hatched in Berlin in 1884, was underpinned by the pernicious philosophy which proceeded on the premise that Africans had to be divided and conquered. And that is how Africa then became a sphere of influence, partitioned as it was, amongst the European powers of the day. The Germans, the British, the French, the Spaniards, the Portuguese, all had their spheres of influence. And we will remember so very fondly in 1963, in the month of May, Kwame Nkrumah, speaking to 32 heads of state of the then independent African countries, emotionally and passionately exhorted his compatriots that Africa had to unite, because if she did not unite, then the erstwhile colonial masters would return through a neo-colonial project. The question is, was Nkrumah right? And if he was right, what can we do in this day and age? David, the history is known, the desire is there. There is no shortage of initiatives in Africa today of those who are saying that the only way is unity. What is your take?
Thank you very much, Professor P.L. Olumumba, for inviting me to this show. And before I do that, I want also to thank the viewers for waiting for Professor P.L. Olumumba for a long time. For the last 2 weeks, he has been busy up and down out across the globe. Yes, to go straight to the question. Can Africa and can African countries integrate? The question is a big no and a yes. Very big no and a very small yes. Because even the smallest there where we are, we have not we can't even hold the pact together. obstacles are too many. African countries cannot integrate when each and every African country has a Ministry of Defense. What is it to defend from what? The colonial master whom Nkrumah talked about went a long time ago. They left us. Is there any external occupation coming? No. The GDP of the African countries, most of them go to defense.
To defense, yes.
To defend from what? If you want to integrate, let's be very honest. If you want to integrate, why do you defend?
Thank you very much, viewers. That was very, very great news by none other than Miriam Ogutu, our German friend and Kenyan friend. Thank you, viewers, wherever you are. This is Punchline Africa. We are on the topic, the budget. Now, we have strictly about 15, we've lost 15 minutes. Out of our time, but we shall go straight to the budget of Kenya. The misses, targets, rewards. Miriam, are you going to interrogate me, or you I think you now do the interrogation.
The interrogation.
Yes. What is it that you missed in the budget?
I first want to know, were you disappointed by the budget?
No.
All right.
I expected it to happen because we don't have a budget in East Africa. We have rollovers, what we call rollover, debt rollover. Every East African country has a debt rollover. There is no budget here we are making. It is not the days then when we had budgets. When you hear the budget day, you sit glued on the TV.
That's such a big deal.
On the radio. Expecting serious announcements in change of how your uniform will look like. This budget is now no budget, especially some of the countries in Africa. Kenya has diluted the budget day. It has done, people know already what is going to come. That's why members of parliament, some of them to yesterday walked out. Some went to fight other battles with women. Some beat women. An MP who beats a woman in the presence of the parliament is worse than a terrorist. Yes, I'm sorry to say that. This one can kill you. If you are beating a woman, innocent woman, whom you can only tell you, let me go and buy you coffee, and you smile at me, we shall smile. That's what we do to women. Ugandans do that to women. Smile and we smile. They serve dinner. They serve lunch. Madame Getty, let's have lunch. You don't slap her. You entice her to lunch, then hammer points home. By the time she departs, she might be even your best friend forever. You don't beat women. You don't. Such a man should lose his seat in the parliament.
Automatically.
He should just get out of parliament because he could tomorrow bomb the parliament.
I don't say that.
Yeah, he has anger to bomb the parliament. Yes, I'm telling you. For you to beat a woman in front of your own parliament office and you touch. Some of us have been married for 41 years, but we rarely touch our women. Even when they do insult you, they even to say, what are you going to do? Go and do it now. You go and do it. I've just left here to do one or two things. Maybe it is part of the problems. Yeah, but I don't. Women are supposed to be smiled at, not to be beaten. Please. Because there was, even the Bible says the second creation. We are the first creation. Therefore, you as the person of the first creation, you must handle the woman. Unamubembelesha kidogo pole pole. Hata Who told you that Getty cannot listen? She can listen. Every woman has a soft spot.
Every person, even men.
No, wait, let me go. Today I'm on your side. So don't spoil the Miriam, don't spoil the flow.
Good, okay.
I'm on your side today. I'm not on the side of Passaris against Passaris like the other time. I was only against Madame Passaris because she talked about her husband in public. That's all. Otherwise, I have no interest. Even if she insults me, I'll never reply. I even walk away and I call you, let me have your beautiful face over dinner. Unismile kwa dinner. That is better. That's the best way. But you don't beat up a woman. That MP was wrong. Two, you know, there was no respect. As before the minister could finish reading, MPs were already walking out. That's a miss. A very big miss. It means nobody was interested in the debate. Neither will this debate be worth it. Why? It is a debt rollover. Why? It is not a wealth creator. It is a wealth transfer. So, analysis like the Uganda one. MPs said, I was listening to Ugandans. I make telephone calls in all these countries yesterday. Frantically, Miriam, from Sudan, I wanted to get. Sudan people said there is nothing here.
In South Sudan?
Yes, South Sudan. In Kampala, they said we are at a war with ourselves. The whole amount has gone on defense. Defense ministry and security has taken the biggest chunk of Uganda's budget. People were wondering where there was a war.
Is it between Uganda and
Uganda and
Rwanda?
No, between Uganda and Uganda. That is what most Ugandans said about the budget. It is between Uganda and Uganda because the whole money went to defense, to buy arms, to buy equipment, to pay so many things.
And East African communities, even research showed just recently, we are obsessed with buying new armory, buying new, just equipping the defense. People are wondering, are we in a war or are we getting ready to go in a war? Where is our priorities? It's East Africa, not just Uganda. Even other East African countries really invested heavily recently in the army and the armory.
Yes, because there is a proxy war around East Africa. And maybe Museveni might be correct on the budget. Because this proxy war might create us a problem. There's a proxy war, we don't know where it will end. It has been sunk here. The president of Burundi was watching his budget from his house where there's a toilet, there's everything, there's a gym. He doesn't move out of the house because anybody could come and take over power. Across in Rwanda, there's still mamas of Uganda doing something. So the budgets have to, Uganda is going, also Uganda has to say Rwanda is planning something. The only countries that are not accusing each other in East Africa is on the question of defense is Kenya and Tanzania. But the three countries of East Africa and the four, actually Sudan, Uganda, Rwanda and Burundi are choosing each other. Maybe Rwanda is planning to topple me. Maybe Burundi is training rebels to topple me. Uganda, maybe Rwanda is sending people to kill our people. Rwanda says, no, you are mistreating Ugandans. That is what Sudan says. Ugandan troops should, South Sudan, leave Juba. The rebels are saying they are there. So there is that thing working in East Africa, where four countries are choosing imaginary enemies. So they had to, put a lot of money on their defense. Apart from Tanzania and Kenya, that have no problem, no warmongering syndromes. The rest have warmongering syndromes. Hence, the budget is at that much.
is that much. But also when the CS Rotich was talking, there are a few things that I picked from that speech. And of course, he said now they'll sort of do another recount on civil servants, because they've realized, as much as when Anne Waiguru was in that docket and they tried counting and they found a lot of ghost workers, there seems to be still a few, and so they're working to see that to do another recount. And also on government institutions, they're saying the government institutions that are sort of renting space, they will be given a certain amount. They cannot exceed a certain amount in terms of the rent that those places will be paying. So that will help curb the loopholes that and the exaggeration of charges that a lot of these heads of these parastatals put on that. So that is very good. It will save the country a lot of money. But also, there's also something else. Now, of course, the youth who are working in the internet, who have not been paying the taxes. Now the government has said, as long as you seem to be doing something online, there will be like 1,000 shillings, and you'll be paying that in lieu of the taxes. But also something that really, something else also. He said that any government institution or any person working in the government, and the institution needs a car, or the person needs a car that is for government use, official use, then from starting July 1st, all the cars that will be bought must be bought from the ones that have been assembled in Kenya. So that perhaps will help encourage and build the manufacturing industry, because that is one of the key points when it comes to the Big Four agenda. So that will go a long way in by encouraging manufacturing industry, and probably more growth will be seen in that. So they'll be buying cars from farms that have assembled those cars here in Kenya. So that is a good thing. And also these farms have also received the taxes have been lowered. The excess duty has been lowered by 10%. So that is also a very good thing, and also will go a long way into encouraging, and also President Uhuru Kenyatta realizing one of his key 4 agendas, which is manufacturing and building the manufacturing industry in Kenya. And also, but something else that really got me a bit confused, Rotich still gave 7.9 billion Kenya shillings towards irrigation.
Irrigation?
Yes.
Yes. He lost
dams. 7.9.
He lost the dams. It's a miss. The money, he hasn't accounted for the 2 dams, for the several dams, including the money of Eroro and
that is what got me confused.
Kimero.
And still gives them more money.
And they gave them more money. So he's just covering up for this money, so that this money can now be used.
Suspect, because it was 7 billion that was lost.
Yes.
This is 7.9 billion.
Yes, so that the rest can come and be seen. It is available. So that one is a suspect. People are not still very happy. But one thing that caught my eye, one thing that caught my eyes is the amount of trouble per diem. The suggestion that your per diem will be calculated and put on your credit card if you are traveling is a very good suggestion. That's a reward. That's a very good one. It's a target for the ministry. The minister, at least, for every bad things he has been doing, something good there.
Because
some of these men claim per diem, then they go and hide in their houses, and then come and say, we have used it, we have been there. For example, one judge claimed 13.5 million to go to Canada, Ontario.
13.5?
Yes.
How long was he?
2 days.
No ways.
Yes. I don't know how
he took private jet.
I don't know.
Well,
I think it includes private jets. 13.55 million that I'm accompanying Chief Justice Maraga to Texas, Ontario. Yeah, it maybe because of the distance, I don't know.
But still, 13.5 million for 2 days, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, from 23rd May to, let me see, I've got some information that I will need to verify.
And also, just before we were coming on set, there are some civil service, they went to court. There's some activists that went to court to challenge this budget, and they're saying it should not be implemented. There's section of this budget that they do not agree with. I was not able to get all the details because I was just hurrying up to come here, and maybe we'll get the details as we proceed with the show. But also, something else also that I saw before we came on set is that Chief Justice has sacked the judge that gave Waiti to bail.
Yes, yes, yes. I told you.
Apparently, he was.
I was here.
Yes.
I was here telling people the truth that this is a fracas, and the people insulted me. Now those who insulted me, let me also not insult you, because I will not be a good man. I'm a man here to teach with wisdom. I told you it was very wrong for a judge, the same judge. She was on holiday. She was at his house, nursing, massaging the husband. Then she left and issued a warrant, a bail of stay. Then, look, we cannot fight that way. And this is what I've been telling Chief Justice Maraga, that there is a rotten judiciary. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta cannot win this war if he doesn't do something about Maraga's whole entire, sweep it out. Sweep it out.
But that's a plus for Maraga.
It's a plus for me, not Maraga.
Exactly.
It's a plus for Matanga, who has been shouting.
Exactly, that guy, yes.
Yes, you and me, we have been shouting here. Mama, we want a better Kenya tomorrow. I might not be a Kenyan, but I want a better Kenya tomorrow. For me to visit with my children, grandchildren, actually, not children anymore. I'll be visiting with my grandchildren when they say, Papa, Kuka, pass this way. Kuka, don't cross. The eyes will be gone if God will keep me up to that age. But at least they are now the ones that are there can guide me. If their mothers got out in Mombasa, and we are in Mombasa, and the mothers go out, the rest can say, Kuka, can you pass the way? Don't touch this, this is tea. I have. So I want a better Kenya for these people, for the generations to come, not for me. I'm not fighting for myself. I'm gone. But we want a better country. That's why we see us telling President Uhuru Kenyatta, without Maraga leaving that court, without Justice Mwiru, those thieves, that thief there Mwiru, huyo mbaya sana. She's a cartel dealer, huira. Me, I have no good words. From what she told me in Sudan, I still have a very big thing on my heart. She's a huira. And I don't want to play back what she said in Sudan against certain tribes in this country. It's not personal. It made me leave my rice and mutton, and I went back to my room to sleep. So such people should not be near justice. A judge must be beyond Emperor Caesar's wife. Very clean. Who could see the pattern is in the sky, and told Julius Caesar, what that beggar was saying is correct, my husband. There is someone who wants to betray you, and he is amongst you. Watch out. That is the type of judge people want in Kenya. But kudos to Chief Justice Maraga for having dismissed this lumpen. He's not a judge anymore.
Yes.
He's not a magistrate. You can't issue an order, the same judge. You are even on holiday. On holiday. You are on sick leave. And you are brought to issue to a man who told us he has got land titles which are bigger than the water flows in Nairobi. Niko na millions of land titles, very many. Waitutu was telling us, how did he get them? Anybody in Kenya has a right to ask. But here we are. That is a plus for Maraga,
yes,
for having taken action.
That is very good.
And Mzee Maraga, take more.
That will act as a deterrent.
Yes, take more.
Rogue judges in
take
the
more.
judiciary, yes.
Take more.
Yes, indeed. And also the government yesterday during the budget reading allocated about 88 billion Kenya shillings to various agencies tasked with fighting corruption in a movement to sustain the renewed war against this vice. So the government has dedicated 88 billion Kenya shillings to the war against corruption. See how much corruption is.
I was telling you about a person I will not mention. Kindly process an allowance for one Mrs. So and so who is engaged in the below stated trips together with the Chief Justice David K. Maraga for the Kenya Diaspora Conference held in Ontario, Canada on 19th May 2018 and Dallas, Texas between 23rd to 25th May 2018. One item process, name withheld, and the number of days 5. Amount 13,550,000 Kenya shillings.
Wow.
If you think there are fools in Kenya, then you haven't seen the clever ones, who are very many. Kenyans, you are losing your tax through such money, through such loopholes. From 19th to 25th, 7 days, give it 6 or 7 days. One person, this one item. Because this, according to our investigative agent, we are not naming the person. But if you took this money, please return it. We are on you. We are looking for you. Return it. Because the matter is going to be escalated. 13.550 million for 6 days. Are you going to buy slaves? Are there slaves there? Because maybe you are exporting some slaves. You know, we black people, we were bought. So we still have that promotion of going there. Bought. Unaona, tunanunuliwa. Lazima tuende huko. So we must prepare for the landing site. 13 million for 6 days for escorting the Chief Justice of Republic of Kenya. How many cases can this money take? How many cases can this money, how many magistrates who walk without shoes, who do the things under the trees, who write without typewriter or computer, how many of them, how many computers can this money buy? Niambie wa Kenya. One person, that's one item. They didn't indicate how many people accompanied the Chief Justice at that time. How many? If each one is globing and entering in the pocket 13 million. Mama, hapa tunafanya nini?
That's a lot of money.
Wewe na mimi tunafanya nini? Si ndio kutuko kwa shida? It's a Friday, hakuna shida paka kila siku paka siku ya mwisho. Baraka Mshe said, hakuna kitu kibaya kuduniani kama shida. Ija kuwe nani?
Shida.
Kila siku shida. Oh, siku ya mwisho. This is shida.
This is shida.
13 million for a trip of 6 days.
One person.
This time I've learned a lesson. I'm not going to mention the names, but if you know you took this money, go and return it.
Yes.
Rudisha hiyo pesa kwa Maraga. Rudisha kwa judiciary. If that trip materialized, you took the money, you show us what you bought. 13 million is equivalent to, actually, 13 million is equivalent to $130,000. So it can buy a house in the United States.
Even here, a very decent home.
Yeah. No, but such high flyer officers buy houses in the US. So this man went with our money round one, and bought a house.
Round one.
This person here.
There were other rounds.
Yeah, there are several rounds. Yakurudi, round one, took 13 million shillings, went to buy a house in the US. Kenyans were left paying tax. So Rotich has said this time, if it is per diem, let it be on credit card. Then bring back the expense of credit card usage.
That is fantastic.
Fantastic. We give you kudos. That's a reward. Let's go.
And print the receipts from the hotel.
Yes, where you slept.
Yes.
Because some people, it is true.
That is what
not only in Kenya, in Uganda, they even tell their wives that they have left for Mombasa, yet they are in Kampala. So when the wife is passing by to do gym, he sees the husband is in the gym.
The car is parked.
Yeah, the car is parked down there. It is like a Nigerian drama here, man. We are in chaos, Africa. That reverend said, we have a problem. He has inspired me today. We have a problem. Prayer in church every day while you are stealing money. Prayer in church every day while you are telling people to go and connive to steal government cash. Tell us. Prayers in day. Every day talking about God. When you are actually worse, God is not listening. Africa. Thank you.
And also, yes, that is in Kenya. But also something happened in Tanzania yesterday.
Yes.
And when the budget was being approved, local manufacturers of wigs, now, I don't know if you've seen that, and a lot of women are not very happy because the Tanzania's finance minister has announced a 25% tax on all imported wigs and hair extensions and a 10% tax on those made in the country in a bid to raise more revenue. Why is he targeting women, the Tanzania...
with what?
Wigs.
Thank you very much.
25%.
Yes, thank you very much, Magufuli. I want to thank the Minister of Finance of Tanzania. I am going to travel there to Biangu Mupenzi and Dr. Kikingo prepare my journey. I will be in Dar es Salaam sometime next month. I want to thank the government of Tanzania for increasing money on the wheat.
His name is Philip Mpango. Philip Mpango, what are you doing to...
The Minister of Tanzania, Philip Mpango. Asante sana ndugu Mupenzi. You did a great job.
Ndugu Mupenzi is unfair to the women.
We need women who are natural, who are real.
But are men natural?
Real. Yes, I am. Have you seen me doing bleaching my face? Talk about bleaching the face. Chisekedi is in Tanzania today.
He's not bleached his face.
No, I'm not talking about bleaching him. He has not bleached. But most of the Congolese bleach.
Of course.
Yes. I'm not a Congolese man who bleaches his face. Yes. I don't bleach my face. My face is as it is with its pimples as God created me. Like all the marks. Look at me. I've removed the glasses. Hallelujah.
Those are freckles. They're called freckles.
Yeah, good ones for long life.
Okay.
For long life. Ask anybody. Ask your dad, will tell you.
The freckles are for long life.
Yes.
All right.
If you see a man with that, it's long life.
A man and a woman or just a man?
Yes, they come from women.
Okay.
And such women are very beautiful.
Yes. It's natural birthmarks.
Yes. So the minister to increase 25% on wages. Ulifanya mzuri mzee.
That is not fair for the women in Tanzania.
Yes.
25%.
So that some men can, you see, some men just come and pay money. Me, I cannot pay money when you are going to buy a wig. A wig,
you pay
natural, that hair from India, starky, Staki bibi yote mwenye ako na hilo nywele.
You pay for it in there.
Staki David, no.
Okay.
Niwache.
All right.
Anybody who intends to come closer to me with that type of hair, God bless you. But don't ever try to cross my line with hair like that one of Mrs. Beer, Paul Beer. She has hair for $1 million when Amazonians are dying of hunger. The Tanzanian minister was very right.
Was very right to do that.
Yes. Let's go to another ministry, another country, Rwanda.
Yes, Rwanda, and Rwanda's overall spending will rise to 11% in 2019, starting this fiscal year, and they had a budget of 2.87 trillion Rwandese francs, which is equivalent to how much Kenya shillings? Because we did the let me see. But yeah, just 2.8 trillion Rwandese francs, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania's budget. Kenya still tops that.
You know, all the budgets of East Africa today are in trillion. There's no country that has, whichever currency you can talk about,
yes,
it was mentioned in a trillion. When I grew up, it was mentioned in hundreds of thousands. A full budget of Uganda in 1960, before independence, was only costing 150,000 pounds. The entire full budget. When we grew up in school, we could be called, there is a budget day.
Yes.
I remember the minister, my first minister of finance was called Kalule Setala.
Kalule Setala.
Ugandans learn some history. They don't know who was their first minister of finance. The first minister in Obote 1 was called Kalule Setala. Who was the minister? Kalule Setala, Minister of Finance. When you hear the name Kalule Setala, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, that he is going to read the budget. It is pomp, real pomp. That's the day. Now, the ministers reading the budget today like a Kasaija of Uganda does not impress you. First of all, with his accent, it is not even thinking well. I don't know why he was given a ministry, but that is for another day. What worried me about the Ugandan budget, and he did, I just want to ask the Minister of Finance, do you want Ugandans to use sand to brush their teeth? Because the highest tax this man taxed was toothbrush. Had you seen that? No, had you seen that?
The highest.
Yes. Tanzania, they went for wig. In Uganda, the minister went for toothbrush.
Toothbrush is not a luxury.
I don't know.
How much would they
I want to ask people out there, is toothbrush a luxury or a necessity? The minister taxed it highly, increased its tax if you are importing toothbrush.
Toothbrush.
Yes. That everybody in Uganda is laughing about it, because how do you tax toothbrush? But I want to thank Mr. Kasaija that why some of us, our teeth is like this. You see, still intact. We use the sand.
Sand?
Yes.
Not sand.
Sand.
Or salt.
Sand.
What do you mean sand?
Aki, sand. I used to brush with sand.
And then what?
And that is it. The teeth became white. It was white. Well, there was no dental skin disease or blah blah. Nothing. Sand and a tree. You cut the tree. You do it very well, and you sand with sand.
I know charcoal does.
Now you are talking. Charcoal, sand,
salt,
sand.
Okay.
My teeth, when I was growing up in my village, We used to have good sand. The silt that has been brought by a river called Tsutsu.
To where? To the riverbank?
It comes all the way from Mount Elgon. Mount Elgon, the best water before these enzymes and zygotes started finishing it, polluting it. You could go and shower nicely, bath very nicely,
and
cool.
And get the sand from there.
The sand on the side and use it.
So
Ma'am, we grew up those days, there was no disease.
You didn't care about hygiene. So
there was no hygiene, there was nothing. This fat and this food, the British, the Bazungu have brought it now. You notice that every time there is a disease that is brought in, every 10 years,
it's lifestyle.
A new disease comes.
Yes.
Now we have Ebola that has come and overridden all AIDS.
And somebody was
they are saying AIDS is...
Someone is saying it has been created. But
yes, they are now saying AIDS is gone. Ebola is on the high alert. Someone needs to take a signal and say there is Ebola. This is what Africa is. We have become a dumping ground. Why is it that this Ebola does not rise in America?
It become guinea pig.
Why is Ebola always coming from Congo forest? What did we do to God? God come and help us in this Congo. AIDS, they say, Congo. Ebola, Congo. Diarrhea, Congo. Cholera, Congo. What?
No, cholera, just make sure you take clean water. And
but it came from Congo. Tsetse fly, Congo. Listen, tsetse fly, Congo. Tsetse fly, yeah. If you follow the tsetse fly, sleeping sickness, the area in Africa when they are drawing the map, Congo. What is wrong with Congo?
Yes.
And yet it is applying to enter East African community.
Yes.
Are we in trouble?
And right now, the Constitutional Court disqualified 23 opposition members of parliament that were elected in December. So problems in Congo. So anyway, of course, Rwanda's overall spending will rise by 11%, as I said earlier. And something very interesting about the Rwandese budget, the country will finance, the government will finance 85.8% of its budget. Rwanda.
Yeah.
85.5.
It is going self. Rwanda is the only country that is actually in East Africa.
And talk with pride.
Yes, talk, and it has no rollover. No rollover, no debt rollover. You know all the two countries, Kenya's budget is rollover.
Completely.
Uganda's budget is debt rollover. The Ugandan budget does not create wealth. It transfers wealth. The economy of Uganda transfers wealth, not creating wealth. Show me one thing that creates wealth. You must have the money in the pocket. How many people have the money? His wealth is a transfer of wealth. It's a good budget, fine. But transferring wealth from,
it's a good.
Either you have stolen from. Listen.
They're taxing the toothbrush.
By taxing the toothbrush.
Did they tax the bread and?
To take the money where?
Because a toothbrush, you're supposed to replace it every 3 months, so it's not something that will.
But it's taxable.
It is taxable, but not.
The Minister Kaishaja is telling us that in Ugandans we should work with that mouth.
A bad breath. Without
yes, dirty mouth. So Ugandans who are very used to this cleanliness.
So just go back to the sand.
Let's go back to the sand. In Bududa, in River Tsutsu and Manafa. Those are the two big rivers.
But the sand does not.
That form part of the River Nile. You know we feed the River Nile.
Hold on.
Wait.
The sand does.
How we have contributed to this Africa.
Does not solve the breath, the early breath. Do you even clean your tongue with the sand?
Hey, that's what we used to do.
It's not.
Unakurashi tongue.
Does it?
Miriam today go and ask for sand from Kitui.
And clean my.
Yes. It has no disease. It has nothing. There was no disease of dental teeth. This toothbrush and Colgate has brought dental problems.
Has it?
Yes. Hey, don't you see so many dentists? Those days we used to have one dentist against 200,000 people.
And people rarely visit.
Yes, people rarely. Maasai, you tell me the Maasai is used to visit dentists. They eat meat every day. That meat is protein, which makes the jaws very strong. So there is no disease. To eat my Colgate, ilileta shida.
Okay.
Colgate has also brought, I am not against, okay, toothpaste.
Toothpaste, yes.
Let's say that because I don't want one brand to go down.
We don't want to be sued here.
I don't want to be sued.
we take that back. Toothpaste, all toothpaste. But that sand part, I'm still trying to, So anyway, Kenya once again topped the region as a country with the most expensive national budget for the year 2019-2020. Tanzania's budget was second highest, but lower than allocation to the executive. In fact, Tanzania's budget was lower than the allocation Kenya made to the executive arm of the Kenyan government. Just one arm of the Kenyan government was enough. It was more than Tanzania's whole budget. And of course, Uganda came in a third place. Rwanda came in fourth. And Tanzania's budget in Kenya shillings was 1.43 trillion Kenya shillings in Kenya shillings, which translates to 33.1 Tanzania Kenya shillings. And Ugandan's was 1.08 trillion Kenya shillings, which is 40 trillion Ugandan shillings. And Rwanda's budget was 2.87 trillion Rwanda's francs, but in Kenya shillings it was 316 billion. So this 316 billion, that was Rwanda's budget. This is almost what went to the counties, or was it to the Senate that they are refusing? Rwanda's budget is only 316 billion. They're being realistic.
Yeah.
Are they no?
Yeah.
We're trying to live beyond our means.
One of the problems, and I want to make this point to my fellow Kenyans, fellow Kenyan brothers and sisters. One of the problems that has killed Kenya, anyway, I'll make a speech so that the clip is taken. But if you can allow me,
all right.
Can I? And our production team can take note of this.
Okay.
Or we do it at the end.
No, it's okay. We are almost at the end. Actually,
Yes.
It's 8 minutes.
Thank you very much, viewers. One of the problems, the obstacles that Kenya faces emanates from structural challenges, obstacles. From 2012, I have been singing in this country, telling people that Kenya faces structural obstacles, challenges that make it difficult, duplicate the jobs. For example, the structures of civil service, the structures of the workforce of the government is overburdened with wage bill. The product of the structures or obstacles of structural challenges bring about wage bill. The ballooning wage bill is as a result of duplicity of much of what we do. For example, you find two PSs in one ministry running and doing the same job. We find ballooned ministries doing the same job. Yet a lean government would have solved the same problem and cost little money. The obstacles that we find are the ones that are bringing us a ballooned type of budget that we saw yesterday. Almost a quarter of 2/3 of the money generated in a recurrent budget expenditure is on wages. Is it the time for the government to cut down on the higher number of employees? Take Rwanda, for example, whose budget is in a few billions. It has over 9,000 workers. The whole Rwanda has 9,000 workers, civil servants, compared to 230,000 or more above that Kenyan civil service. Most of the work in Rwanda is done on e-commerce and on e-tender and on e-something, electronic. You can apply for tender while you are in London and you are awarded the tender while you are in Singapore. Is that what we want in Africa? Yes, it cuts down the ballooning of the wages that have actually made our budgets bigger, unmanageable, and threatening the local populace, giving more anguish, more pain for the citizens of this country to carry the burden of an inflated budget. A recurrent expenditure budget. There is nothing new that has not been seen already. How Africa can do change from this is an example coming from Rwanda. Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
I haven't done very well today.
That is fantastic, and thank you so much. As I mentioned before, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda's budget all put together stands at 2.82 trillion Kenya shillings, and of course Kenya's budget is at 3.02 trillion Kenya shillings. So the difference is about 200 billion.
So you can see that. So the discipline, yes, the type of discipline in the Rwanda monetary and the fiscal is very serious. You steal 1 shilling.
There's no wastage.
No, you steal 1 shilling, there is a bullet.
That's what we need. Why can't we do that? Oh, human rights.
The human rights, the misses, before we go, I think we bring that Reverend again.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He inspired me. And we want to ask the production team to leave him to speak all he have done, so that we also hear. We had the last word.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yes, I think, yeah.
There is one thing before we leave, Miriam, before the Reverend comes.
Yes.
In all the budgets in East Africa,
mm-hmm,
there is a thread. What is the thread?
In all budgets in East Africa?
Yes, that were read yesterday.
Mm-hmm. What was the thread?
Can I?
Mm-hmm.
Beg me to say it.
Beg you?
Yes.
Oh my God. Just say it.
Say it. Call me the name.
Oh no.
Miriam, you can't call me the name. Call me David.
Dr. David Matanga.
Sanga, exactly. Yes. Say it. Corruption.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The entire East Africa.
Outside of Rwanda.
Not even in Rwanda, mm-hmm, all ministers talked about corruption. Viewers outside there, you agree. The worst of it, highest type of corruption came from a country that Miriam does not want to hear about. Every time when you talk, she does, oh my God, is she there? South Sudan.
South Sudan.
Despite the fact that South Sudan has $2.3 billion.
I love South Sudan. It's the things that happen in South Sudan that really makes my skin crawl.
Coming out of oil.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Miriam, guess what? They eat it. These guys come and buy houses.
Here.
It is like in Somalia. I've found another. Hey, I didn't tell you.
What happened?
All the Somali officials, mm-hmm, they have bought houses in Turkey.
In Turkey?
Turkey. Mm-hmm. United Arab Emirates. I have got everything. No wonder there is this trouble of trying to sell even water.
They need extra for mortgage.
Yes, okay, to sell water, our Indian Ocean. We have a problem here. I found out yesterday, my friend from somewhere rang me, said, hey, doctor, look here. I am gonna name this next week, Somalia.
Mm-hmm. On Sunday?
Sunday, Somalia.
Africa Showdown, yes.
A showdown Sunday. We are on Somalia. All these guys, my God, they are just milking. We are wasting our time. AMISOM, we are fighting terrorists while all the Somali ministers are buying houses in Turkey. They are buying houses in United Arab Emirates. I've now found out, I've followed, as an investigative man, please don't ask me, but this information comes, it landed on me. Mm-hmm. It's just like the information of 13.550. Mm-hmm. A woman going to America for only 6 days. What about the several officials who accompanied the Chief Justice? The type of corruption that we have in Africa
It's unbelievable.
is unbelievable.
And also, yes, just before we leave the betting, the CS Rotich will be taxing bettors 10%. So if you put 100 shillings, 10 shillings will go to you'll be taxed. So 10% tax upfront before you even bet that money. KRA would have taken it. So maybe that will help curb the high rise of betting among the young people. And we thank our viewers. Mayuen Angara, you're saying good afternoon, good afternoon to you. Kankwot Koang Palchwol Randy, thank you. Sylvia Kalingu, thank you. Abraham Nweke, we saw Johnson Maville Johnson, Ann, Africa Rising, Mayen Matuen Boud. Anne, thank you. Deng Omot, you're watching from Central Australia. Thank you. Deng G. Omot, good morning and thank you for watching. And Tobechin Lek, you're saying good morning and may God continue to strengthen us. And thank you so much, Sylvia Kaling. Also, I think our friend came here today. I don't know if he's still around from Tanzania, Sylvester Kijingo.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So all of you who have joined us and the rest, even if I've not called your name, but we appreciate so much your patronage. And we thank you so much for your company today.
Oh, before you say thank you very much, I've just received a notification about the letter that dismissed. Let me send it to our...
That dismissed the judge?
Yes.
That's good.
The letter, so that you see here, we don't only spoil anybody's names. We don't spoil people's names. We bring it with facts. Some people might think we are talking without facts. But I want you to receive this letter. Stephen, it is there. That has dismissed the magistrate, Mr. Brian Khaemba, principal magistrate in Kiambu, for misconduct, and in view of the above, you are hereby required to show cause why disciplinary action cannot be taken against you in 14 days. And 23rd May, whereas you were reported to be unaware and allowed to be away from duty, and he issued from home. And this is what Matanga, they call Matanga a bad man every day.
Actually, you mentioned it.
I mentioned it.
You said it.
My intelligence is not wrong. It's never wrong. So you can see, even this woman who took 13.55, return the money. I'm going to blow you out, Mr. President. I'm going to show if this woman does not return this money.
Don't blow her up.
No.
Just expose.
I am going to expose.
Yes.
I'm going to expose. Yes. There are some people threatening me with letters, some stupid man called Wachikoya, writing around. I will not answer you. Go and do what you want to do.
Your former bestie.
Yes, a former bouncer who was bouncing me. He's writing me letter because he's a Kenyan.
He was bounced.
We karibu. We soon scandal ambayo inakuja kwako kubwa. I'm not answering anything. And go and do whatever you want. If you want to, what will you take? I will serve the sentence for the money I don't have, isn't it? For having helped Kenya to fight corruption, I will serve the sentence. But if I'm doing good things, what everybody is seeing, I told you the magistrate was unaware. I traced him up to his house. He was at home. And I came here and I told the whole world that this magistrate is not well. He has issued
it's called what?
Anticipatory bail.
Yes.
So who is wrong here? Wachikoya, you have tried the wrong one. Utaona. We are going to battle with you. Hiyo mambo ya kuambia watu professor, utapa kama karatasi utatoa. There are so many people you have. This is a man who comes to you to borrow money. Then he's accusing you. I'm really very upset, kabisa. Because I'm doing a good job for Kenyans. Look at this. I told the people that this magistrate, Maraga, has been annoyed with me. Maraga started saying they fight me. At a certain stage somewhere, Maraga said, I think this guy could be right. And I started doing the right things. It is that Mwiru who wants me to be. Mwiru wishes that Matanga enters the court one day. But Mama, the signal is here, Mama. If I were you, I would pack and leave. How did I get this? How did I get this? How did I get the allowance? Shit, this woman, the allowance, the note, one item, 13 million. What about the second item? We don't know. So return this money before we come. President Kenyatta said no vigilante. With this evidence, rule of law has to take place. Mr. President, we agree. But at least, if it was in Rwanda, you know what this magistrate will suffer? Is even 7 years.
Yes, at least.
7 years, Kayemba will not be eating any food anywhere, except the food in the yeah. 7 years. It's a Friday, and I don't think you are going to live without the song.
Kola Ture, thank you so much, and good afternoon to you. And thank you.
Don't laugh. I know when you start laughing like that, you are disappearing.
I don't sing.
No, you have to bring the song, Miriam.
And I don't dance.
You have never sang for me.
Sang for you. You want
for
me
us.
You want me to serenade you?
Oh my God! What is that new word?
Serenade is to sing for somebody, and to yes. But anyway, sing for the
serenade.
Serenade. Stop.
Serenade me.
No.
At least sing one good song.
Just sing our song.
No, one good song.
By the rivers.
No, one good song. One good song.
We were to play the message from the preacher. What happened?
No, before the preacher comes, I know Miriam wants to run away. But one good song, which you can only do a chorus to sing.
Which one?
Yes, let's bring it. You want Ugandan song?
Yeah, sing one. We will appreciate.
You will change
me and the viewers. I always enjoy music. Is just the
but you don't enjoy it.
I do. I enjoy good music. I enjoy all types of music. Be it Zulu, be it any.
Which song can we sing? Stephen can suggest and text us.
We cannot trust Stephen to choose the song. Stephen, does he have a sense of music?
Stephen?
He said he does not.
Stephen? Do you have any sense of music, sir?
He does not.
Yeah?
Or rhythm. So he said you choose. Yeah.
I have nothing much to say apart from say thank you very much.
You're not singing. You brought it up. You cannot now run away from it. By the rivers of something.
No.
No.
The rivers is too much.
All right. The rivers are too much. Why? It's raining so much, so it's flooding.
It's flooded. We can't go cross Kagera. Thank you very much, viewers.
And they're not crocodiles.
Yes, okay. Kagera fed on the crocodiles of the Libyans.
Okay.
Miriam reminds me of 1978, 79, when in that liberation spirit, we used to sing the song, none other than By the Rivers of Babylon. But that song, By the Rivers of Babylon, was turned to mean By the Rivers of Kagera. Because Idi Amin in 1978 invaded, 1977-78 invaded Kagera, Tanzania, annexed the land called Kagera Salient. It was annexed from Tanzania, and he called it the 43rd district. Remember, Uganda had 42 districts. districts. This one became the 43rd as his territory. President Mwalimu Nyerere of Tanzania said it can't be, it will never be, and that he has to be done. He said for the first time in African unity, because I see the African Union today flattered by so many deceit, a lot of deceit, sitting on the fence while some countries banned like Amazonia. Nyerere decided to send troops to go and liberate part of the Tanzanian territory called Kagera. The Chikosi Maalum of 208 KJ and the Fronasa battalions of Yoweri Museveni and Oito Jok, respectively, and Tito Okero and Basilio Okero, and several of us who were on this other side had that song, and we sang that song. And the song, instead of saying Babylon, we said Kagera. And here goes the song. By the rivers Babylon, we replaced it by the rivers of Kagera. Oh, we wept when you remember Kagera. And then that song gave us motivation
okay,
to move on, to fight on, to go and win, liberate Uganda, remove it from the yoke of inhuman treatment that Ugandans. While we sang that, several Libyans, and Miriam talks of the crocodiles. The crocodiles ate several Libyans. Those wounded could not be carried by Red Cross, because to be found with a Libyan in Kagera salient, which hospital do you take him? Nobody would like to carry the comrade. But in war, we are supposed to carry our comrades along. When they have died, even if it's an enemy, you have to treat him, arrest him, take him, hand him over, put him in your medical camp until he's handed over, which is called a good war. A bad war like the war we had with Idi Amin. Most of these younger men, Libyans, who were flown in paratrooped into Tanzania by Gaddafi, died, were never buried. Crocodiles ate them. Today, we don't have DNA of those crocodiles, neither do we have DNA of the men who died. One of the things that made Nyerere to die without greeting Gaddafi, but later on forgave Gaddafi, was the Tanzanian-Ugandan war, where Gaddafi supported Idi Amin on religious grounds to dismember the rest of East Africa. But as Ugandans, we have forgotten, we have left that history, we have moved on. But there is something that Lenin said. And in my last preach,
what?
My last preach now,
We were preaching.
my last words,
Okay.
I would like to say something that I've written in my talking from the fence. I have written something, Miriam, which ends this way. And I'm always the structural obstacles that kill Kenya, I've mentioned them, but I've said unity in diversity plays a crucial role for the country's development. As the nation which is integrated, Kenya can grow and prosper if the unity is of purpose.
Unity in diversity.
Yes. Two, the fight against graft has been intensified, and there is hope, and that hope is that the corrupt will go to jail. One of them today fell, this magistrate of Kiambu. Lastly, President Uhuru Kenyatta needs unqualified friends and support from everyone of goodwill and those who wish Kenya well. Let Kenyans give him a chance because they elected him to finish his term. But my last word, which is real last, is, I said, the obstacles in corruption, this is me, that eats most of the money that is borrowed to create infrastructure is there. That is corruption. But Lenin said, there are decades where nothing happens, and there are weeks when decades happen. There are decades where nothing happens, but there are weeks when something happens. You got the meaning?
Yes.
That at one time, you can wait for this liberation, for this struggle against those who have eaten the money. But in weeks, it can change.
Mm-hmm.
President Uhuru Kenyatta, our last word on Friday today, take us to where we can change in weeks. Let's have these cartels taken down. Let's begin with people who lie to us that they have already sealed the loopholes of graft. Let's not be liars. One thing that I want to tell Kenyans is this budget is the best, because you know why? It is frank. Are you with me? It's a frank. You know, this guy has put, in fact, you Kenyans should be more happy that the man has told you we are naked. Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Other than the one in Kampala who said we tax toothbrush. That the economy is doing well. The Kampala economy is doing well, very well. Wealth creation is not there. It is wealth transfer from stolen money to transfer to the rich who are already corrupt. Who are the people running the economy of Uganda? You know them. The industries, who is running them? You know them. Look at the directors of industries in Uganda. You know them. Line them up. If there was a firing squad, you will see which part of Uganda will cry more. Hallelujah. So this is serious. This is very serious. Because the man has hit. Lenin said, President Lenin said that there are decades where nothing happens, and there are weeks when decades happen. Take that, Kenyans. Take that, East Africans. Take that, Sudanese. Take that, Rwandese. Take that, Burundians. Take that, ndugu zangu wapenzi wa Tanzania. Na wapenda sana nyinyi. And take that, my fellow brothers and sisters in Kenya. Kenya will rise and shine again. The infrastructure that the president is putting forward down here today is the better infrastructure for tomorrow. The border man hits a car that is insured by 400,000 insurance money, and he drives off. He has no record, he has no license, he has no trace. He cannot come to complain. He should also, when he's on the road, let him have a license equivalent to the road. The paparazzi in London and you have been in some other Western European countries. You have seen the picky man, the people who drive motorbikes. They are the highly insured people, highly insured, because the risks of death is higher. So if this is being brought, Kenyans should not complain of everything. We know border help, but border also killed people. They kill people, not because they want, but because accidents do happen, and the carelessness on the road has taken a toll over our people. A man could avoid hitting a border, goes to hit 20 people because he was avoiding to hit one border who was riding that border wrongly. This is the essence. We don't like, we might not agree with Mr. We might not agree with Mr. what is his name? Rotich on a number of things. But on this one, and the per diem on the per diem to be put on credit card, Mr. Tawish, sorry, Mr. Rotich, thank you.
That is great.
You have done a very great thing.
But do you think they'll find loopholes in that, especially the per diem?
Yes, it will seem, because it will show where you went. You have to go there in order to tell us if you were in Texas. The hotel in Texas must show us a printout that you paid for the money.
Yes.
You cannot take the money and then fall sick in Dubai and go and shop for your wife and come laughing in the plane. Or the husband, or the woman shopping for the husband. Usually it is women who bring us all this trouble. Women! When you want to please a woman back home, you have to steal money. If women were not there, people would not be stealing money, maybe. Do you think so? Because most of this money, most of these guys stealing money in these ministries, still the first priority is wife, my baby, my wife. They are I swear, no, that's the truth. Because for me, my wife knows if I don't have, I don't have, and I tell her I don't have, so you kill me. When you loved me and said we shall be together, die together, let's die together in this poverty. I don't have. Usinikuje tena unaniletea face nikupatie nini? Take the body then. Take the blood. But some people here are quick in receiving money. They go and fix these deals. If you look at the chronology of corruption, it starts with fixing these deals, Miriam, to impress a side dish. Look at our bosses when they are driving towards Mombasa for a seminar. You go to Mombasa, you find some ladies from Nairobi, they are lined up in hotels eating breakfast in the morning. Take a sample of them. What have they come? That's why people are struggling for these allowances. You need the allowance in order to survive. Hello. We need to talk about this so that corruption ends. How long shall we debt rollover? We are in debt rollover mood. There is no time like Karule Setara in Uganda, the Minister of Finance, the best Minister of Finance that time. Karule Setara, when he comes with his red briefcase, everybody in school we are told to iron our uniforms to wait for the budget day. Is somebody there in Uganda hearing me? Is somebody hearing me? Minister Wahwea, Minister of Finance under Idi Amin dictatorship. You could hear Wahwea coming to read a budget. Even under Amin, the budget day was celebrated. Today we have nothing to celebrate on. It's misery, anguish, pain, anger amongst the nationals of East Africa. Hallelujah. Because of corruption. Because corruption, Miriam, I'm sorry I have to talk again until we open up this chapter. Listen to me. Because of corruption, we have to read such a budget. Yet the motives are very clear. When we borrowed the money for SGR, we borrowed and lessened the distance between Nairobi and Mombasa. Little known to us was that the SGR people were going to inflate the prices of land where the SGR was passing. And that's why the bill of SGR is high. Not because the railway machines, the metals themselves are high. Metals are not very expensive. But the human being by name of Swazuri and another one called as Enanasim Mainda. Is it Maina Enanas? What is that name? A Christian name called Enanas Maina. I have never heard about it. Enanas in my language means pineapple. Maina. They inflated the bills. They are in court. They have been charged. They have been sent away. They ate from the SGR. The bill for the SGR became huge. Whereas people, I see some cheap economists and some cheap political analysts saying that our railway compared to the railways next door. In Ethiopia, the land is for Ethiopian government. In Kenya, the land is for a personal property. My land. My land. In Tanzania, the land is for the state. The state can decide to build and relocate you. They don't pay you for the land. That's why you see the SGR in Ethiopia was cheaper. In Djibouti was cheaper. Because the land in Djibouti is not owned by individuals. It's owned by the state. But in Kenya, the land is owned by individuals. If you pass me and you pass my railway, you want to pass a railway over my house, you have to pay me to go and build another house somewhere, and myself, the land that I was in, and the railway passes. So we had good intentions. President Uhuru Kenyatta had intentions, very good, but the people to implement them were the worst implementers. Ladies and gentlemen, I can go on and go on and go on and go on. But let me leave you today with Miriam. I will come back at 3 p.m. myself. Miriam might not be around, but if she can be around, it's okay. I want to discuss a very pertinent topic this afternoon of where I will look at all the angles of why our legacy must go on. I want to thank you all. I want to ask production team to leave the Reverend talking. We want the Reverend talking. The Reverend talking about Africans, and Miriam, you can have a chance.
Some Reverend was just talking. I was watching some news there, and from Nakuru County, because the county has passed a bill to allow girls in high school to be given contraceptives, and in case they get pregnant, they should be allowed to have an abortion. Look at where we are going as a country. So the Reverends have come out to castigate that bill that Nakuru County intends to pass. So let's listen to the Reverend. Ball
Nyang wants to finish me. Miriam and the doctor, I'm watching you.
Yes, and thank you so much for joining
What
us.
is the watch?
We appreciate you very much. Thank you. And also Nangchu, thank you. Somebody else also was watching.
So many people were watching us.
And you're saying you're watching us, and good afternoon, and they're watching
and
us.
Sue Ayoni says true. Anne, good from Malindi. Enjoy the sunshine there and the heat wave.
It's a bit cold in the other coast right now.
In Malindi?
Yes, yeah.
You are making me not to go there. I had been given a free ticket.
It's not like a cold like here, but you know.
I'd been given a ticket to go to Mombasa.
Okay, good.
Is it worth it?
It is. It's always worth it. Mombasa is a beautiful place. So thank you, Bonyang, for watching. We appreciate.
Thank you very much. The Lioness herself has said it. So let's leave it. Let's leave it to where it is. Thank you very much. This station, therefore, wants to thank you. It is for us, for Africa, by Africa, with Africa. Ciao.
The Zambian government, Bishop, sold the copper mines in northern Zambia to an outside consortium for $25 million. The copper mines for $25 million because they couldn't manage to keep them. The company that came in and took over the Zambian copper mines in 3 months made a profit of $75 million. They did not pay the Zambian government upfront in cash for the mines. They were going to pay them over a period of time. Here we have this company that has an understanding of how things work, raised the money at the government's expense, took money that the company should have, the government should have been making, and gave it back to the government and said, we paid our debt in full, and give them now 0.006% of the proceeds of copper mining, when right outside the door there's people in poverty, people in not eating, people ignorant, people dying, high levels of AIDS. And what's the deal? Churches are full, people are praising God, Africans pray all night. Prayer is not in the success equation. Prayer is in the revelation equation. Decision making is in the success equation. You have to make a decision and be sound. We have to be disciplined and make sure we go and get what God has called us to get. You can be full of the Holy Ghost, but you can still be ignorant. But as for me and my house, I will get understanding. I will get understanding. I will get understanding. It's time now for us to rise up and be counted. This year, the country of Ghana turns 50. Ghana was born the same year we were born, in 1957. Ghana and South Korea had their independence dates on the same day, the same year. But look where South Korea is. South Korea is by nature not a Christian nation. South Korea by nature are Buddhists. China, which is the next large world economy, they have stated that in the next 10 years, 20% of the Chinese people will be multimillionaires. That means almost 450 million Chinese will be millionaires. They are not Christians, they are Buddhists. The Japanese are Shintoists. Those in Indonesia and Malaysia are Muslims. It's not about praising God and hallelujah and a great thank you, Jesus. It's about possessing an understanding as to how things work.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.